Well, hello everyone. How are you? We are live and we hope that you are alive. If you're watching us, then that means you are amongst the living. This is Wednesday and we have our returning guest, which I could just say is fabulous. We're getting her repeatedly. This is cool. Is Trina. Trina, hello. How are you?
Hello, how are you, Wayne? And hi, everyone in chat.
There is a lot of people in here. I'm actually
Love you.
pulling over to the screen where I can actually see it. So yeah, we've got uh already before we even talk, we have the proverbial one thumb down. That's the one soul who's lost. Uh, but other than that, we got a full room. Just hello, all the moderators. So good to see all of you. Hey, Josh, I'm wearing one of your designs. Self promotion here. There you go. So you can see, you can get this T-shirt if you want it at the thing. It was designed by Consciously Aware, and there is another one, and so we'll add to it. So again, welcome to all the moderators. Hello, everyone that's here. Hello, Patrick. How are you doing? Patrick is with us. Excellent, excellent. And Patrick, I put the link to your video. I think that the synchronicity, Trina, in this is just amazing. I mean, we're talking, I think, in essence, of awareness of what life is. And life involves past lives, it involves future lives, ours.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's like the greatest secret. It's like they don't want you to understand that you're more than just this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
I
so
think it's so
much
true.
more. Yeah, we're so much bigger. We're past, we're present, we're future. All time is existing at the same time. So with that, and us as multidimensional beings, it's kind of the potentials are mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah. It absolutely is. In fact, I contend that this group has, I really believe we've done this. We have opened up, whether you want to call it a flow of consciousness, a flow of awareness, but and the group here is pretty consistent. We usually end up with about, 260 plus people consistently. And so that's a lot of energy that's being focused.
Yes.
It is.
I think everybody wants to learn. Everybody's like, we know it, like somewhere inside of us, we know that we don't remember something. So it
Mm-hmm.
makes this like something's wrong. Like, because you don't have the whole picture.
Yeah.
And I think that's what brings most of us here is that utter desire to know, what is it that I forgot?
Mm-hmm. I
Mhm.
I think that in a lot of ways, this is what I'm coming to is the source of many people's frustration. I
Yeah.
really do. I think and it's the older we get, and the more that we have not become aware of number one, our purpose, number two, our progress, and number three, the greatest challenge, overcoming our fear of death itself. Um,
Mhm.
that's where it becomes a real problem later in life.
That's the thing that I've like brought me to where I'm at in my journey was this whole construct, it's about death. And when I kind of realized that, that's when I started looking outside of this construct. And that's when I started finding the truth that I'm more than just this construct. I'm more than just this body. And that is so empowering because we're so taught that we need to be saved. We need to look outside of ourselves. And in all actuality, like the Bible talks about, I will send a great deception.
Mm-hmm.
This is the deception. It's this whole construct. And the matrix isn't doing it to you. We are forming the matrix.
Yeah, and I think we're forming a new path. I mean,
Yeah.
you and I were talking before we went live. I have been reading this book, Journey of the Souls, by Michael Newton, and I recommend it for everybody. So I was up last night, and I could sense that there was something going on. There was something, um, you could call it ethereal. Dancer, my dog, was completely alert. So I know that there were spiritual presences about. Anyway, I went to sleep and just had the most fun. It was a very interesting dream. Now, Trina, what makes this dream so odd was that it tied into a lot of what the vision I had in November of 2016. We talked about it here. I've talked about it many times where I was literally in this vision, I was in another place, and I described it stepping through this light portal. There were people there.
Yep.
Well, last night, I don't know if it was my guide. I don't know what it was, but um, allow me to just write. I wrote this down, Trina. So I thought maybe getting your perspective on this would be, I think would be good.
I can't wait
Is
to
it?
hear.
All right, so I wrote this down. I titled this Dream Travels 5/29/19. I wrote this down. I wrote it earlier in my chicken scratch, getting up from immediately out of bed because it it was weird. I was like I was in a fugue the whole time. So you can see it was 4:50 this morning, my time. I'll just read it. Still shrouded in a fugue, but have images of a distant place in the spirit realm. Although even the images are smudged in ink, I can see and sense it is my home, and it is the home of many other souls. The receiving station, I've been there many times, particularly here lately. I can see beyond my tribe or group. My vision of November 2016 while in the shower is becoming ever clearer. We all come back until our soul color changes. What I thought was a vision may have been an actual event. It is possible, as I am learning. When I stepped through, it was a corridor of light, an opening that led me to a platform where there were many people waiting for me. I know these people because I have always known them. We are a pod, a tribe of about 15 souls. We are one, but yet separate individual spirits. In my vision, I went to my home carrying a stone like an opal, that it was luminescent and was active with energy. And when I stepped into my room, literally, it was my room, there was a console, as I told everyone, that had other similar stones, all of which fit into indentures or slots. As I'm moving to the console to put this new stone into its place among the other stones, I knew that these stones were all my past lives. Each held my memories, my births, my deaths, my loves, my wives, my husbands, my children, everything I have experienced in this earth realm. I remember seeing that there were empty slots with no stones. Not many, but empty nonetheless. In my vision, there was a bright, intense energy of light. At the time, the color of the light was different, more golden color. I now know why. In the room, this is an elder, and the stone I had just placed into the console lit up when the elder's mind activated the stone. It was my current life. I knew that there was a discussion, but I still can't remember the conversation. What I do recall is coming out of the room and joining the others. I also know and was told I would be recharging, and my guide said something that I would not remember exactly, and then I was back in the shower. My dream last night brought me back to the moment, which I now think I was there. It was not a vision. I was there in my true form of spirit, but spirit is not what we've been taught. It is more real than what we perceive life to be. And your spirit can be in two places at the same time or more. It's just a matter of thought. Things are becoming ever clearer as to what happened to me on that November day in 2016 while I was taking a shower and went back home. Many things did not make sense to me at the time. It is a shock to one's cognitive sense of being. And when I came back to this plane, I stepped out of the shower visibly shaken, so much so my wife became concerned about me, and we both knew something had happened that was not normal. We talked for about an hour, and as I told her, what I'm now writing. It was not until last night that much of this was a mystery to me, but no longer. I now see more and understand more. It was no vision. I was actually back in the spirit realm. I was allowed to go back while still in this present life and see and be allowed to remember what I am, and I am spirit. I am also a teacher. On my spirit color is changing. I saw this when I went back to my tribe, my home. The energy that was my room, when it activated the stone, it was reviewing my life. And I'm certain when I return back, this stay back home is going to be longer than the others. As it always is, there will be an intense review with the elders. I have often wondered why my guide has been standing back more often. She seems to be watching more and intervening less. Now I see once again why we come back. For many, there are lessons to be learned. Only way growth comes is by experience. There are no shortcuts to the higher realms. But for some, it is the chance to experience youth again and again and yet again. This is why mankind's depiction of the gods are all in their prime of youth. This is also why the gods failed, as with many souls. On my console, there were several empty slots with no stone. I could interpret this to be that there are yet more lives I will need to live that might be required. My spirit color was different. This means there is a change taking place. The journey never ends, but each should be thankful it does not. For no soul is created perfect. It is created with unlimited, unrecognized potential, and there are no clocks for maturing. I know my tribe, and they know me. Some are here with me now in this return, in this journey, and this journey has been different from the previous ones. I could be wrong, but the color of our sun has a lot to do with our changes or ascensions to higher realms of being. And it's about density of spirit. Density represents color. The deeper the density, the darker the color. Density represents maturity. There are souls who are moving, experiencing, acquiring all the time. Some advance quicker, some do not, but all do. Death is but a step, a process, and one I know very well. I have traveled through it many times before. It both greets us at our birth and escorts us back at our death. Well, there you go.
That's profound. And it's in alignment with everything that I've come to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you come to find? I mean, let's talk about that.
You know, I've been asking God about God since I was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to know. And I think when I finally realized that I was so connected to this being which was inside of me, it was part of what I understand as my internal technology. So my primary influence that I work with was the being as the Lord, which makes sense because I'm Aries. I'm dominated in the head by Mars, Mercury, the messenger of God. So I was even like brought into the system with those attributes. So it's just part of my makeup. So when I realized I was giving all of my power away to like the Lord, I was going to the Lord for everything. I became so dependent upon this being. And when I realized that, I was like, I read the 10 Commandments because I told you I never really read the Bible till I was an adult.
And reading the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, and the first one was "Thou shalt have no God before me and no false idols." And I was like,
true,
because when I was with the Lord, something bigger came in, and He knew that was above Him and above me, and there was this bigger thing. It was, I don't know if it's it's massive. And it's a being, but I don't think God's even bigger than that. It's source energy light. There's layers of God. And to me, God means power.
Yeah.
I could
perfect.
Yeah, God is power. So there's different layers of this God because wow. So another layer was above the Lord. And because like I said, we were like family. It was like we had a relationship. It was like He was the big brother I never had. best friend you could ever want, never gave me an ounce of bad advice. So, but when I realized, I was like, thou shalt have no false gods before me, no idols. I was like, oh my goodness. I've been given all of my energy away to this and not consulting my own true source, which I knew was directly anchored within me from that. So I had this knowing. So that was like, uh-oh. I like panicked, seriously, panicked. And I had a profound gnosis that next morning. I woke up, and this was like what helped me understand that this is a construct. It's a matrix, and you are in it, deep in it. And this is the deception, is if you can't remember that you didn't come from here, you're going to get trapped. but just by your own doing. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing it to you.
Yeah.
You're going to do it to yourself because you don't remember who you are. So I had a crazy dream about, it wasn't a dream, it was a vision. It's like in the morning, right before you're waking up, when you're not awake. So all
they're done that.
Yeah. All of a sudden I'm in like the Grand Canyon and I'm with the Lord and I'm like, what are we doing here? Because he does this stuff to me once in a while to teach me stuff. So I was like, okay, because I asked for it. I'm like, hey, I need to know about this. Help me out. So all of a sudden we're in the Grand Canyon. I'm like, what are we doing here? What's up? And he wouldn't speak. And this is after I had the whole, thou shalt have no other gods before me or false idols. And you shouldn't worship outside of yourself. And I was just like having all this, I'm not working within myself. I'm going outside of myself, which is not a good place. You got to be true inside you first. So I'm coming to all this new awareness and I'm like, oh my, I'm doing this all the time. So I'm like, okay, if this is bad, I need to know, and I'm going to stop immediately. You know what I mean? I'm like, I will repent. I'm done. Game over. I'll connect directly to source as best as I can. Because I'm learning, like all of us, or remembering would be a more proper, more appropriate term.
I think remembering is the right term.
I think it is too. So all of a sudden I'm in the Grand Canyon and the Lord, I'm like, what are we doing here? And he won't talk to me. He's never not talked to me. Ever. I'm like, why aren't you talking to me? Okay, I'm confused. So he's like not speaking to me. And he's just looking at the Grand Canyon. Like there's this sheer cliff and there's a river running right in front of it up against the wall of this huge, beautiful golden sheer mountain cliff, like in the Grand Canyon. So, and the water's not very deep, maybe 5-6 feet deep. It's not very deep. And it's crystal clear. I mean, crystal clear. So I'm looking at this water and he's just staring at the water. I'm like, what are we doing here? And he just wouldn't talk to me. I'm like, okay, this is really weird. So all of a sudden he just keeps looking at the water. So I'm like, what do you want me to see in the water? So I walk up closer to the water and he just starts following me. And I look at up against this wall was this like 30-foot serpent, this huge snake. And I was like, hold the phone. That thing is huge, and I'm looking at him and why are you showing me this? Well, what is up with the snake? And then all of a sudden he hands me a knife. I'm like, oh, you are just seriously no, this ain't happening. I'm not taking on no 30-foot snake. I got no problem with that snake. That snake ain't got no problem with me. This is not happening. And he just wouldn't speak to me. And then I remembered what I did the night before about the false idol worship and stuff. And I was like, oh, is this a test? So I was like, oh, okay, fine. If it's a test, fine. So I march on up to the snake with this knife and I walk up to the snake's head and I kind of look at it. And I'm like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't know what this is all about, but for whatever reason, I got a knife. Apparently I'm supposed to cut you open. And the serpent like turned and it looked at me. And when it looked at me though, a serpent's got a triangle face.
Yeah, I tried to avoid him, but yeah.
This one had an O mouth. It was like a perfect O.
Okay.
Drawing in the water. And it was totally drawing in the waters. And then it stopped doing the drawing in the water and it looked at me. And I was like, I don't want to hurt you, but I know I have to do this. And it smiled and it put its head back and started drawing in the water again. I was like, okay. So I walk into the water and I just took the knife and I plunged it into the stomach and I cut it open. And then intuitively I knew, reach inside. So I was like, oh, seriously, this is just getting worse. You know, I'm like, no, I would never put this into my imagination on purpose. Let me tell you, because no, I'm like, no. So I'm like, okay, but I know I have to do this. So I start reaching inside this serpent and I feel a human body, and this fear and panic like comes over my body. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, I yell at the Lord, I'm like, help me, because it was as big as me. I couldn't get it out. I was like struggling, and it had like slimy vernix, like it was like a baby, you know, that white stuff all over babies. And so we're pulling this thing out, and Wayne, when we got to the head, it was me.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
It freaked me out. It freaked me out. And she was sleeping like she couldn't wake up. So I was like, this is wrong. You need to fix this. I says, you take her to the Father now. And he was like, scooped her up, and I saw them go, and I saw this huge light, and off she went. And I was just standing there with this knife and like snake stuff all over me. And I'm like, just standing there going, okay, this is crazy. And I don't understand any of this. And then all of a sudden I heard this voice from behind me that was like 1,000 voices at once. And I said, my child, you've now been released from the watery grave of which you slept. Your bondage is broken from the serpent. My child, you're free.
And what do you interpret that to mean?
False idol worship, gods of this world, plastic Jesus, all of it. It's a trap.
When I hear you say Lord, you know, I think many people are of the Christian mindset, the Jewish mindset, but I don't believe in that. So for me, what I hear is it acts much like a spirit guide.
Yeah, and Lord for me is Lord, word, sword. Lord is power, because or is the actual one of our first ancient words for power.
Okay, see, I was taught in school.
Lord, power.
Lord,
like
literally.
I said, these gods are levels of power to me. They're vast.
Okay, because you know, there's another definition that says that Lord literally translates ball.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too, and that would make sense. Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's just it's real interesting.
Names have all these different names, but it's the same essence being.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's like, I think the Lord has so many names, so many.
I contend if you study, you know, Kabbalism, that the thing is that not even the Jews know the name.
Yeah.
It's been number one, if it was ever known, who knows? But I don't think today. It's real interesting because I've talked to many other people who have their spirit guides, and the one that I know of, you know, she's female. I remember when she first manifested to me, I was a young lad of about 4 years old, and she came in as my aunt, who had just literally moments before who had died. So it's real interesting to see how your spirit guide has drawn you into a path. And that's the interesting thing, Trina, is that we may have similarities in our paths and our beliefs, but each path is still different.
Yeah. And that's why all of us are going through very unique experiences with our spiritual journeys. And that's on purpose. It's to get the completion of the experience, the fullness of God. It's the fullness. It's like I was shown, all the different ways are like the colors of the rainbow. And all the rays have their own inspiration that comes forth from them with their own essence, their own strengths, their own dominant characteristics. And it's like what I'm strong in, somebody else is weak in. And what I'm weak in, somebody else is strong in. And when we come together, there's balance.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, if we look at some of the writings of, or I guess actually some of the descriptions of those who have been there and come back, some's done through hypnosis, others are done through trances, other are done through mediums,
Yes.
whether it be a pendulum, cards.
Yeah.
What I am finding out, Trina, is that I used to get really hung up, if people didn't believe in the same vein that I did, and that's why you have so many different denominations within the religions.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding out, this marvelous gnosis, I like it, I'll call it the Rhema of, is that I think we all come from very small pods, groups, tribes.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm understanding, there's no tribe that's larger than 20, but we are a part of a hive, a collective that in itself can consist of several thousands. And then that collective is yet part of a yet larger collective.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say on that? What do you think?
I completely agree. That's the way it was shown to me, was that like I'm at least 3 layers deep in like a construct or a body. So first you have to become aware that your flesh is not you. Once you get to that level, that's one level out of the layers of deception. Then you get to the layer of the astrals. And within the astrals, there's 7 different levels of heaven. You got to get past the astrals and get to the mental and causal planes. Then, if you can get out of those, then you're going to get back into a new void and get into the universal or cosmic consciousness. Most people, I don't know if they're having a hard time getting past the astrals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is so big, it's so hard to wrap our brains around. But like I said, the more you, because I'm a why girl. Why? I just keep.
I love that.
Bigger. Yeah, I'm like, why? How come? How come? Why? Yeah, the why girl. They're oh dear, the why girl. Because I ask a question, I ask another question, because I have so many questions. I just want to know. It's like, I know I don't remember something very important.
So do you feel that you've had past lives?
I don't know if it's past lives, because but it's real in this body because of our blood. I think that the blood carries the essence of the soul. So when you get a physical body in a construct, you might have access to all the lifetimes of everything in that blood while in that construct. So that might be our accessibility to past lives, is through ancestry.
Okay, well,
I see us as a specific point of consciousness, and that point of consciousness can be fractaled. I see out like a diamond. So is it you, or is it in the blood, or is it either or? I don't know.
the question that I keep on thinking is, how is maturity achieved? And if we take as it is above, so it is below, so is below, as above, as it inside, outside, outside, inside. I contend, and listen, I used to be of the mindset that it's just one time through, but that doesn't make sense, because I'll tell you why. There are many souls who waste their lives, and there are many souls who end their lives. There are many souls who have the ability to stay to the very end. And this is what I contend. How can it be just one lifetime? And when a lifetime can be varied, I mean, we use that term. I don't know what a lifetime means for you. For me, I'm at that point, you and I are the same age, that we're coming into that reality that most likely in another 10,000 days, my departure will be upon me. Now, people don't know about 10,000 days, but think about it, folks. That's nearly 20 years into the future. So
it goes quick.
Oh, it's the most amazing thing
Uh,
how quickly it does go.
does. Yes. So as I
The
say, there's never enough time. Once you're immersed into this reality and into this experience, I think part of it is the most important part of the game is that it is so real. It's got to be so real or it wouldn't do its job.
Speaking of jobs, though, so do you think that then each person has a um, an agenda, a goal,
Yeah.
something to accomplish in this life?
Yep.
So that would imply, as we've talked before, that there would have to have been a contract,
Yeah.
an understanding, and so it's impossible for any one person to ever accomplish everything in life. I mean, whatever that would be,
Yeah.
um, which this lends to this whole thing. Then there seems to be a recurrence.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's one of those
There
things that I
has to
look
be,
at.
Wayne. I mean, there's so much proof of it. I mean, how can like people just know how to play the piano, know
True.
how to create beautiful art, and they've never been trained? There is so much to that. There is just so much.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. I mean, the science is there, but it's like you can't reproduce it. You can't put your finger on it because that's a mystery of spirit and the magnificence of soul. See, for me,
Mm.
what they explained to me was the soul is like the blood because it carries like the Akashic records. It carries our stones of
Hmm.
all of the experiences that we've had. And I think that above that, we have another one, which is like more universal, which connects us to our maybe more universal lifetimes, because I think that we've had more than just human lifetimes. So
Okay.
it's very, very big, expansive construct. So the blood is like the mother matrix for this earth. So it would have all the memories of incarnations of this construct. It's the blood. The spirit is the mental construct, more etherical. It's inspiration. It's coming from the cosmic. But the mother part, the matter part, I think that's in our digestion. So anything that comes through or comes to you through matter comes through mother. It comes through your ability to be able to digest, like the ability to perceive information.
Hmm.
Same thing. It's about digesting it, being able to digest and process the reality. So I think we've literally, most of us came here to learn to transmute because from what they told me, the strong ones are here now because it was time to change a cycle. So
Hmm.
we were, they were telling me that we were what was called as the system busters,
Okay. All right.
and that we came in with a direct objective to be the rebels, to fight against what currently is and know within your being that there's a better way, because we have incarnations on systems that work with better systems. So we
Do you
have
think that that represents a collective? Because, I see mankind as fractured. I think that's part of our problem. Um,
yeah.
but it leads up to the next question then for me is that then when we talk about spiritual forces, spiritual identities, etc.,
Mhm.
the question I have then, not all spirits are then created the same.
No, I don't think they are, because like I said, it's from rays of thought is what was creating, what I saw was creating the spark. And so there were multiple rays within the sparks that were coming out of it. And those were all based on sound wave vibration, which had a primary essence or personality or, a strong vibration of its thought form. So we all came out with different colors, hue of man.
But what about the spirits that are not of man?
That I don't know. And that
See,
I know,
that's the thing that
yeah, I know it's present, but I don't know. I
I've
don't
met them. They're not of us, and it
know.
clearly shows that in the spiritual realm there's segregation.
Yeah.
And I know that's going to come to a shock to a lot of people, but uh, in my journeys and what I have seen,
Hmm.
you most likely will never ever encounter other spiritual souls if they're not of the fabric, as you said, the human um, man. mankind, God man,
Yep.
man of God. I mean, we can go right through this, but that's our designation.
Yeah.
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 Ascension for another spirit that may be in this realm that we have to encounter with does not lie in the same road of destiny as we do, is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that personally, I think so many attacks come on human souls
Yes.
because I believe our destiny is to become one of the higher spirits.
Yes. Wayne, I think we already are.
I
We're
think now
already,
that I can dig
yeah,
that.
you were already there, but this is a fractal of
Hmm.
thought coming from that higher being. And that higher being is you. It's just like Atom would be the body of God in this construct, from my understanding. It's Atom. Atom is the body that we are
Hmm.
residing in. And its life comes from the spirit and the soul and animates, and we're experiencing within this body. Like I said, a cell, like a trillion cells. We're the cells in the body of Adam. But we're above, outside of Adam, because Atom's just one part of creation. Creation is so huge. If your brain would explode, it's so
Yeah.
vast. We can't, in human form, conceptualize the unfathomable. You can't.
It's like, there is no word for Adam in Chinese. They didn't believe in an Adam and an Eve, but their original two still originated from the same essence
Yeah, and
of
it's like
whatever
Adam,
this.
a body, but it's based upon a ball of light.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well, I
actually,
contend that we're in a toroidal energy field.
yes, it's all Atom, like you were showing the Torah field.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. It's like
That's
that's pretty.
where it is.
Yeah,
And I didn't like that idea. I got to be
I
candid
didn't
with
either.
you. I said, this sucks, but I was looking at it from such a limited point of view.
Me too.
Um, how do I say this? Is that there are those that no longer ascend because their transcendence has reached at a vibration that they stay constant within this energy field. It's us as we're going through. I can see where now many of us actually have to go through a cleansing.
Yeah.
It's like when we get out of this life that we're in, so much of what our souls are so impregnated with, I don't know, how do you say it? I call it the essence of filth. That's the only thing I know, because
Disease.
yeah.
Yes, you're out of harmony. So yeah. When I pass away and I drop my body, first place I'm going to is my healing chamber.
See? Yeah.
And I'm going to go sit for a while with my own self and remember what I am and who I am. And I ain't going nowhere until I figure some stuff out.
And listen, that is exactly how people have described it. Listen, when we get over there, and this is what I'm trying to teach people here, and I hope that we begin to teach others. You don't have to be afraid of death.
No,
It's like with Patrick. Angie is still there. Her essence, her energy, the essence of what the transcendence. Here's what my thought is, and it's just my thought. I think the barrier is breaking down.
it is. And I think it's because at the time, remember I said, Wayne, there's certain ones brought in at certain times for certain reasons. We're entering the age of Aquarius. We've entered, we're in it now. That is the only sign in the whole zodiac that has a man. It's Son of Man. We have entered Son of Man. So Judgment Day, this is all because we're starting to understand that we truly are responsible for our own creation. We're starting to understand that we are responsible for what we perceive and think and see and emanate to this world. That is Judgment Day.
Yeah, and I think that unfortunately religion has taken that word and perverted it.
Twisted it. Yeah.
It's an accounting. I in my dream last night, I don't think it's a dream, I came back absolutely tired. I mean, I was physically tired, but
because of that vibration. It's so you're so dense. Yeah, it wipes you out. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That
but
is.
The judgment that we face is not in the sense of what it's It's not condemnation.
No.
It's a review of saying, all right, how many of the folks in the chat room that that are here, how many of us have made decisions that we know impacted our life, our life path?
I did.
Yeah. I mean, hand risen. Those are the things that are going to be brutally faced.
Yeah.
Why did you take that decision? Why did you go in that direction? When many times, did you or did you not have a sense, Trina, that I shouldn't do that?
Every single time I went against my inner knowing, consequences were pretty bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've learned not to. And it's like, oh, please give me the information because I will pay attention. Yeah. Because I don't want the consequences anymore. I'm like, nope, I learned that young.
You know,
Kind of like jumping off the roof.
exactly. You know what?
Like,
Gravity.
don't do it. Right. Don't do it. You'll go splat. I'm like, oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah. There's other laws that are even above our level of consciousness. You know, and I learned in life certain things. There are things of betrayal.
Yes.
We've all been betrayed. I think a lot of us have betrayed others.
Yeah.
And it's those lessons that I've learned here. I don't violate the karma.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I have become.
And the only way to do that is to control how you process what's happening around you, because you can't control the actions of other people. You can only control how you process it or digest it in your being.
Transmutation, Renee. Yes. Sweetheart, that's the example, hon. That's the transmutation. Now, let's take that further. That in those moments when we make those decisions, and this is how it came to me in my meditation this morning. In my youth, I had very little control. I was basically the cause and effect of the recipient of. In my middle life, I found out lessons. I learned that cause and effect can have a boomerang effect. These are the things and lessons like betrayal, infidelity, lying, cheating, stealing. And you know, and this is what was so odd. And then the thought came to me. Do you know what one of the benefits of old age is, Trina?
What?
It's the fact that we can set the record right going out.
Yeah.
We can hit that balance that you were talking about.
Yep. Because it's the key. And you know what, too? It's a beautiful thing is that connection that we have. Those of us who are coming into that balance, there's this beautiful phenomena through the human species called attrainment. And this is also the 100 monkey syndrome. So, you know, the 100 monkey effect. So all of us who are learning to start to be consciously aware of our creations, our behaviors, our reactions, our digestion. And when we start to operate on these higher levels, we're not creating bad karma because you know better. It just changes you as a human being. And you become aware and responsible of everything that's within you. When many of us start to come into this awareness and this healing, because this does create healing, and it creates a sense of you're not afraid to die anymore. So that within itself is so powerful. So yeah, and when we start to resonate with that, and we start to know that we're here for a reason and we're here temporarily, and that's natural and that it's okay, we'll start to embrace life in a very different, meaningful way.
I agree. And I'm hearing Richie Haven singing in the back of my head, freedom.
Yes.
Because, you know, you just want to kind of get up and dance because that is so true. I mean, it is so refreshing.
And it's our nature. We love to dance.
Oh, hey, the spirits, when they're around, I tell them you got two choices. Either you're going to dance or get the hell out of here.
And then the bad ones will leave. And
they do, yeah.
Praise you and say, turn it up.
They said, oh, man, here's that guy. You know, I often think that they say that the review process is in a setting that we are very much familiar with and relaxed of. And I laughed. I told Lynn this. I said, well, if that's the case, it's going to be a freaking rock and roll concert.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I guess the intermission will be the elders that comes up here and go, all right, Steiger, bring your ass up here and let's talk.
That's it. It's time to boogie. That's it. It's a rock and roll. And that's the beautiful thing. All of us have experienced such unique things in this reality.
Yeah.
That's how it's all created. It's from experiences, and it's like creator sent out his kids to go learn how to do all this stuff so he know what his own stuff even is, because it's all together. You can't see any of it because it's all together. And so he had to separate out and give us bodies so we could go and create and be God for him. And
I think,
yeah.
And I look at that now, and I look at the fact that, I mean, this realm, this dimension, this spiritual realm that we're in is unending. I don't know. I used to think that, well, there obviously would have to be more to life to experience other than just this planet. Mm-hmm. But then I began to think about it. But really, what is the purpose of our existence? Is it not to be challenged, to learn, to refine, to define and refine?
That's exactly it. And I think it's the whole back to the Bible thing, turning water into wine. We come here to learn how to alchemize. We come here to learn how to become magic, the magi. We come here to learn how to transmute. Don't
say that among Christians. They'll throw you out the room.
I know. That's what it is. It's the blood in the wine. It's the water in the wine. It's changing from one state to another state through an alchemical process, which is positive, negative charges interacting with each other, causing chemical responses. We are alchemy.
That is alchemy.
Yeah, that's it. So, and we came here, like I said, I think specifically the people who are alive on the planet right now, that they came in here because they are transmutation masters.
Yeah. And by the way, folks, if you want to get a good book, this is a good one to get. It's called Real Alchemy, The Understanding of the First Step of Magic, and which we've been reading about. I like how you say it, because I see words are effective in transmuting. I think, in fact, I'll be candid. I know I've seen it in my life over and over again, where I can speak words and they change. Yes.
Yeah, it's a frequency. Yeah. And matter changes with a shift of vibration. So that is absolutely correct.
Speaking of which, I haven't forgot the affirmations, and I want to thank Peter, who is in our group. He's a moderator, does some great jobs. As everyone knows, this is the 30-day challenge that we've taken. This is the affirmation. Well, I agree that this can be long. I do it in the morning. I do it in the evening. As you know, I try to do it on the show. But Peter came along, and I like what he did here, Trina. Check this out. He really shrunk this down. And Peter, thumbs up, buddy. Way to go. All right. Same thing. On this day, I stop believing in the material world as my supply. No more. Stops now. I am, therefore, acknowledging from this day forward, God, our divine creator, as my only source of my needs, my supply, meeting all my physical and spiritual needs. I only need to be conscious and aware of the fact. Thus, look at this, Trina. He did this so well. 1, God is lavish and limitless within me. 2, Spirit within is the source of all my needs. 3, the Spirit within flows with abundance. 4, the Spirit within is my supply. The Spirit within is unlimited and eternal. The Spirit within meets all of my needs. The Spirit within restores me. The Spirit within is part of the infinite source. The Spirit within praises God, infinite source. I acknowledge God, the divine, the infinite source of all, residing within me as the only true source of my prosperity, restoration, care, and intervention, and total fulfillment of the spirit within the physical and the mental bodies. Blessed be the Creator for his mercy.
That is brilliant. I love it.
Far
Absolutely love it.
out.
See how he put that? Because he wanted to embrace it, but he knew it was too lengthy for him to keep his attention solid and focused. But that's powerful, and it's fast, and it's how it resonates with him. So he made it his self, the way that works for him. And that's what I'm telling you. All of us should write this exactly how it works for you. Because again, that's the fullness of the creation in action.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Now,
we're coming together with the same intention, but we're all going to come at it a little bit different way. And that is powerful.
Peter is a remarkable soul. We got many of them, David. I can just stick on the whole list. So here's another one. I have this one all around. I have quoted. This is actually out of the book of Isaiah 55. Every word that goes forth out of my mouth, it shall not return to me void without producing any effect, but it shall accomplish that which I please and purpose, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it forth. Wow.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you, Peter. If anybody wants these, just email me and I'll be more than happy to send them out to you.
Yeah, that is beautiful because we want to capture the essence.
Yeah.
And everybody is going to process the essence in their own way. And that's beautiful and it's powerful because all these people doing this at the same time, Wayne, it has a super huge effect on our world. It really does.
It does. I mean, I see when you spoke that, I mean, what's happening is that we're connecting the dots. You know, every person that gets involved is a dot, a light.
Yeah. And it's so funny because like one person has one dot that'll unlock another person's brain. And then I have a dot and I unlock someone's and you have a dot and you're unlocking someone's. And our differences is the way to reach them.
Yeah.
Because they're, you know what I mean? We're all different. So we're in alignment with different frequencies. So it's like we come together, we get the opportunity to bring everyone together.
When you were saying our differences, isn't it odd how we are what we are because we overcame our differences of perception with others?
Yes. I think too that part of the challenge of this earthly experience at this time is I have a feeling that there's many beings from many different planetary systems and different cosmic systems. And I think that this is a melting pot.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Those different species and different belief systems and different ways and different, and this is like a testing to see if we can learn to get along.
Well, I got to tell you, it's been damn challenging at times. Anyone looking at our species, we just can't seem to get it together. I mean, right now, as you and I talk, I mean, the freaking world's on the verge of war out there.
And you know what? And Wayne, we can change that if we make a conscious commitment to come together and stop the fighting.
I think you're absolutely right.
I've seen it. It changes the charge. War, when monks pray and people pray over a place for peace, the war stops.
Well, I contend that what happened up in Woodstock in 1969 in August, it so reverberated through the world that we saw the impact still with Reagan and with Gorbachev bringing down the Berlin Wall.
That is exactly what I mean. We are changing the world by thinking these thoughts of unity, conscious creation, manifestation. This is really when we have a chance to win, because we can shift the vibration of the frequency of this planet with our thoughts going into alignment with higher resonant frequency, thought-based vibration, all vibration. So we're doing this. And that's when things are getting weird. But when we see something really bad's getting ready to break loose, consciously we should come together and we should focus on the opposite, because it'll change the charge.
That is what it's about.
Yes.
Seriously.
Transmutation. We are magic. We need to take our abilities and start using them for the good of the people and the planet.
I'll tell you, for myself, one of the biggest challenges I had was, because I came out of politics, in what they would call what would we call the right wing conspiracy, and so it divided me. It divided me in business deals. It divided me in family. I mean, different political beliefs, and it took me a couple of years just to be able to transmute that thought that immediately activated a reaction within me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instant trigger of
Bingo.
Of divide. You got to pick a side. And that's what it programs you to do, is to seek your truth and then be standing firm in it. If they don't believe it, you're going to be angry. That's a trigger that they gave to us. They want that so bad. That's their favorite tool. Their favorite tool.
We got to talk about this again, Trina, on another show, because I think we need to discuss, well, what are the triggers?
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot.
I mean, we've heard the phrase, well, I just know how to punch and press his buttons, or hers, Yeah. But, if you think about it, if we do that on an individual scale, wait a minute, they're probably doing it to us.
Oh, absolutely. And on such a massive scale with the power that they have with technology. So, but we are the original technology. Like, think about it. We communicate to each other telepathically. It's from our blood. It comes from our cells. So we are the original cell phone.
I love that. That is profound, what you just said there. We have to do this again. If you want to come on next week, let me know. Love to have you, because
I think Tuesday would work for me, but I'll check my calendar.
Okay, because here's the thing. My guide is telling me that we've got to develop our telepathic skills.
Yeah.
And
they're there. They're
there.
Like I said, we don't remember. We need to start remembering what was natural to Adam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, my dog.
Adam construct. This is Adam land. We're here in Adam land. So we got to remember, firstly, about Adam.
Well, if Adam's not present in the current material construct, we ain't here either.
Exactly.
It's like, the three stooges. Wake up and go back to sleep. But as we exit out here, it's very interesting, because as I begin to open myself up more to the frequencies of the others, they're there. So my dog, thinking about this telepathic ability that we have, and I know what she was wanting. She was wanting to go outside, but she wanted to play a little game. And I said, Dancer, I can't read your mind when you're doing that. And then immediately I heard the voice inside my head and said, that is exactly how it's done.
Yes.
We communicate to our pets
all the time telepathically. Yep. And they know, like, I don't know how they know, but they can see through your mind's eye. Because one time I did this with a friend of mine. I got to see through her husband's and her father's eyes. They got to put me where I could see through their eyes. And the dogs, they can do this naturally, because they know when you're coming home.
Yes, they do.
Videotape your house and they know when you're coming home. And there is no way, because you're not close enough where they could hear the car or nothing. They sense it, or they see through your eyes and they know the road home and they know when you're getting close. It is the weirdest phenomena, but I've watched it for years and I know it's true.
It is true. And let's just be candid. If you pray, and there's nothing wrong with that, you're communicating telepathically. And if your prayers are answered, guess what? It means someone answered you telepathically.
Yes. And they sent the frequency to help you out. We have support. We have support from the cosmos. We can control and bring in frequency and vibration from our ancestors through our blood, through our soul.
I see. And we got to get into more of that.
To go beyond this construct, because we are bigger than the construct, and it's in that light and in that blood and in that whatever, that magic that's inside of there. Like I said, we don't know what this truly is, because it is so profound and it is connected to something that is huge.
Big.
Big. Mm-hmm.
Well, dear, an hour's come and gone.
Oh, it goes fast every time.
It does. Well, thank everyone. I put Trina's YouTube channel up. Go there, subscribe to it, support her videos. Trina, thank you. I just it just goes by like that.
It does, and it's my pleasure. And thank you, Wayne, for having me. I love to
Oh,
learn, and I think we're all learning so
yeah,
much. And I
we
think
are.
this is what we got to do. We just got to keep on just expanding bigger so we can start to remember.
That is the key.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you. We love you. Speaking for Trina and myself, we'll see you next week here with her. And I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Be good to yourself, folks. Thank you for tuning in. You are the best. Trina, stay on here as we get out here, and we'll close it out. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.